What's going on, cultivators? My name is Zachary Delano Middleton, and I want to talk to you about how to connect the dots between school and work. This is a barbershop pitch for my business. But before I get into that, I want you to like, share, follow this video. It helps us out a lot when you interact with the actual video. Who am I? I'm Zachary. Uh, Call me Zach. My full literary name is Zachary Delano Middleton, which is my full name. And I'm author of the book Running After Delano. And while I'm working on several different projects, this is the project that's out if you'd like to interact with it. The cover was done by Mr. Cecil J. Williams, who's a civil rights photographer and historian. It got a positive review in the Kirkus Review, the January Kirkus Review that went out to different librarians, that sort of thing. You can get a sample of that work. One of the things that we see from a business standpoint, whenever you start talking about an author's work that's bigger than that one book or the group of books, is a brand, right? And so when I start thinking about the brand or the blog that I put together as a self-published author, it's called Grace to Cultivate. And so the thought process with that is that we can connect all of the books, the products, the services to one common theme. And with this video, what I want to do is I want to try to present that. The focus of what we do is a business that's focused on parents, teachers, and students. That's the focus of Grace to Cultivate. If I had to say in a sentence what we're trying to do, we're trying to help the next generation work smarter and not just harder. Okay, that's an ethereal kind of sentence. What are we trying to say with that? Well, specifically, this means skill building, it means career development, and it means entrepreneurship. And all of our products, our services, and our content will be centered around those three things. Now, if you'd like to check us out specifically, check out our website, which is called gracetocultivate.com. On social media, we're available on those social media sites that you see there with at Grace to Cultivate, with the exception of Twitter. That's just my personal Twitter, but you can see a lot of our content there. When you think about Grace to Cultivate, I want you to imagine two sides of a barbershop. On one side, we see guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond. This could also be applied to a beauty salon as well. On the other side, you see a young man who's frustrated with his time in school, and you have great leaders in our community, like our barbers, who are trying to steer him on the right path. All right, if we go to the first side, one of the things that we see when I think about my peers, I'm 34 years old. When I think about what we talk about in the barbershop, a lot of times we're reminiscing on the past, and we start talking about things like financial literacy. We start talking about things like career development. We start thinking about the practical implications of work and how they either coincide with our time in school or how they didn't. And often you'll hear the refrain, man, they never taught us this stuff in school. They never taught us what we're experiencing every day when we go to work. And so, what I wanted to do to create value for that parent, that type of parent, is to create a vodcast that's called the Imagine Exposure Vodcast. That's available on the Grace to Cultivate LLC YouTube channel. Check it out. And what that is and what that's all about is we want to have practitioners, actual people who are doing well in their particular skill. And this is both in the nonprofit and the for-profit arena. What is it like to teach from experience? What is it like to teach as a practitioner? And so we have dynamic and diverse professionals that are represented across multiple genres and people who can help to instruct the next generation. And so, what I want to do is each guest will help this next group be able to better reverse engineer their own goals. And so, we ask questions like, how did your childhood passions as a kid prepare you for your adult career choice? Or questions like, if you were to get into a time machine, what advice would you have for your younger self? And so that's how we structure that particular time. But be sure to check out the Imagine Exposure podcast. It's the best way to create value for parents, for teachers, for educators. Let's go back to the barbershop, where we see that barber is trying to engage this young man. And one of the refrains that we hear specifically from frustrated students is, how will this learning in school, how would it help me in my real life? Well, one of the ways that I wanted to do that, I have a poster that's designed for educators. And so this could be at any educational background, whether someone is doing English, math, they're doing art, they're doing social studies. This is a kind of a motivational poster that helps to give students clarity about their time in school and how it can connect. And so it's essentially a poem, if you will. You have to read it for yourself. Go to our website and check it out. But you can see that. But it also becomes the outline for a leadership workshop I do. And so I actually partner with different schools, libraries. Uh, I go to different sports teams, youth organizations, and I do a talk with the same name, 12 Ways That School Matters in Real Life. And so the leadership workshop creates value for students because it ties everything together through note taking strategy and study skills. It creates value for schools, sports teams, and youth organizations because it's an artistic engagement with social and emotional learning. All right. In summary, who are we? We're Grace to Cultivate LLC. What are we? We're an imagination brand. It's my blog, author's blog. What is our why? Our why is to help the next generation work smarter and not just harder. The reason I say just harder is I'm implying that smart work is still hard. It's very difficult. We're not talking about the path of least resistance. We are talking about hard work. But how can we approach that with a general sense of wisdom? What does it mean specifically? It means skill building, career development, entrepreneurship. How can we do that? The four ways that we try to do that is through the Imagine Exposure podcast, through my own YA fiction, through classroom posters and leadership workshops. Where can you find us? Check us out at our website, which is gracetocultivate.com. We're also on social media under the at Grace to Cultivate. And so you're talking about our Instagram, LinkedIn, on Facebook, same name, Pinterest, same name, TikTok, on Twitter. You can find me. Look me up as Zachary Middleton on Twitter, and of course on YouTube at Grace to Cultivate. Thank you for your time, and I do believe that there is grace to cultivate.